Alright, welcome back again. New video, new updates. I'm on Gran Seil. It's a small island just 5 minutes outside Haugesund. Haugesund is here, and so it's not far, but it's a quiet, nice place. I've been fortunate enough to be picked as an ambassador for Raymarine, and I'm very proud of it. And they called me, they've seen my videos, and they asked, Erik, what do you need? How can we support you? Do you need anything? And I said, well, my navigation system is getting pretty old. And they said, well, let's get you an update then. And what they have sent me is just amazing. So let's jump on board and see what we got here. So what I got is the latest version of their Quantum 2 Doppler Radar. It's fantastic. And I also got this Cam 210 infrared camera for to have vision on forwards on the boat when I sail. And as well, to go with that, an Axiom 9 Pro hybrid touch on the port side, and just the same on the starboard side. And I'll get back to you why I have two of those. And for downstairs navigation, I've got Axiom 7-inch touchscreen RV, and I've been testing it for 3 days now, sailing around and testing everything works fine, and it does. It works amazing, and I'm really happy. But it was a lot of work to install all of this, all the wires and everything. So yeah, take a look at the installation, and I'll see you in a bit. So the first thing to do was dismantling the old E7D platters. Then make ready for an accurate cut fitted for the new Axiom platters. After a lot of measuring and fine grinding, the new installment finally found its perfect fit. Yes. Yeah. And then it was all on repeat for the port side. I did a very poor job regarding dust protection. So the reward was a cabin completely covered in the finest DRP dust imaginable. About an hour spent with the vacuum cleaner, and the cabin slowly came back to being recognizable again. Next up was the Axiom 7 for inside navigation while resting during offshore sailing. I made a teak plywood bracket to be fitted to the Axiom's own bracket. Then it all got mounted on the rod stretching between the deck shackleboard and the mast foot. The idea was to be able to swing it to the same side the boat is heeled over to, because that's the bunk I will be using under sail while resting. The Cam 200 IP I mounted on the aft antenna pole, pointing forwards towards the bow. A bunch of holes had to be drilled all the way from the pole throughout a solid portion of the boat until it reached the net switch, which connects the camera and platters together. What makes the camera system really cool is the AR200 stabilization module. This 9-axis motion sensor with built-in GPS sorts out the AIS signals and navigational aids collected from the navionics charts and overlays it perfectly onto the camera view relative to the horizon. This is a whole new way to monitor the environments around you, and is for sure a great future for my type of sailing. Now the new Quantum 2 Doppler Radar was ready to be switched out with the old one. Luckily, the operation was more or less plug and play. Thank you for a very good job so far. The new one had the exact same measurements as the old one, so it was just to connect the power, fasten the 4 bolts. Very well, so let's hoist the thing back in place and rise the whole thing back up again. And we were now all good to go. I motored out through Kamsundet, a busy sound passing Haugesund, to test the Doppler radar function. In Doppler mode, when the radar scanner plots and detects objects coming towards you, or finds that it could be a potential danger compared to your course and speed, it turns the echo red. When the object passes you, the echo turns green to display it's out of danger. This is an easy and great way for an early detection of what echoes to look out for, especially at night. Big job, huh? And but it's definitely worth all the fuss getting it in. Yes. So why do I have 2 chart plotters? I've always had that, but the reason is to divide the information. It's a lot of information coming into these things. But mainly it's because I want the radar on the port side and the chart on the starboard side. For navigation and in coastal navigation, when you're going in between rocks and skerries, it's much better to have the radar on one and charts on the other one, because if not, if you have everything on one screen, there's a lot more pushing and searching, and you have to switch between the radar and the chart. So it's a really cool system now. I'm amazed about the technology, and it's so cool that people make this, and it's even cooler that I'm lucky enough to have this on my boat. And I want to thank Raymarine so much. Thank you for all your help. I can't wait to get out and try this on a long passage ocean crossing trip. Wow. But before I let you go, I have a couple of other things, updates that I'm done. And one of them is a fantastic little feature for my new Gannocker. And that is that I got it on a furler, Selden furler. So take a look how that works. It's a pretty easy setup. First, take out the bowsprit and lock it off. Then I have the Gennaker rolled up in a bag fastened in the head cabin. I pull it up all the way to the top with a halyard and attach the lower part with the furler on to the bowsprit tack line and tied it up. The furler line is leaded all the way to the cockpit and clamped on along the railing. It's now easy to roll the Gennaker out from the cockpit, but make in mind, even in light winds, this is powerful stuff. And always have the sheet a couple of turns around the winch, or else you could easily burn your fingers quite bad. Anyway, it's a beautiful invention, especially for solo sailing. Once you're done, you roll it back up and wrap it nicely back in the bag and stow it in the head cabin, ready to go again. Next up was mounting a stronger shaft, an additional arm and a bigger rudder on my Hydrovane self-steering device to make it safer and steer even better in all conditions. First thing was to take off the top assembly. Then remove the old shaft. The new one is substantially thicker and stronger than the 30-year-old shaft. Finally, the whole thing is stabilized with an extra arm, making myself feel much more safe when the weather gets tough again out there. Steering is crucial for solo sailing. It was time to take the boat on the hard
for a very prolonged kind of inspection.
I just got the boat on shore now, and I just want to try to loosen the nuts on the keelbolts to see the condition of the bolts itself. So let's see if I can get them loose. This is 46 years old, so never been touched since, as far as I'm concerned. The whole bolt actually twists with the nut. Pretty good after 46 years.
The inspection made me feel a lot better. Not knowing is the worst. So next up was getting her belly painted with a couple of layers of some self-polishing stuff before getting her carefully back into the water. Boats are not made for sitting too long on land. They are made to sail the oceans, to create new adventures.
Okay, so the boat is finally on the sea with full sails, and I can't wait to make another adventure for you. The boat is 100% ready now. Never been more equipped, better equipped than this. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.
I have some unfinished business up in East Greenland. Last year I tried to reach Ytterkortomit in the world's largest fjord, the Scoresby Sound. But being a little early, the ice was too dense.
I have to skip Greenland this time because of it's packed with ice all over the place I'm going, to Ytterkortomit, the Scoresby Sound.
My plan is to have another go in October this year, sailing from Norway via Shetland, Faroe Islands and Reykjavik on Iceland, hoping the conditions will let me in this time. A big thanks to Raymarine for all the amazing help providing me with the best equipment for navigating the seas. And also a big thank to all my other sponsors who are mainly in on this because they want me to succeed, which is the most important asset for me to create rewards back to you. So support me on Patreon or PayPal, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and of course get your MBDS gear following the link in the video description. And remember, there is no plan B, only plan A.